What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Rec Podcast.
Welcome back, everyone. You saw that we had 3 episodes in Portuguese, but now we are finally back with an English episode
I
for you
don't
guys.
know if people like it or not because we have one crowd of people like, oh, make more Portuguese episodes. And then as soon as we release them, bro, when are you coming back with English? When are you coming back with English? Giovanna actually asked me that. Shout out, Giovanna. I know you're watching. We love you.
Shout out, Giovanna.
She asked me literally last night. She goes, so when are the English episodes coming back? And I was like, soon, baby girl. Soon.
Oh, we're serving both crowds, which is good. We should probably do the Rec Español soon as well.
I would love to do that. However, my Spanish is extremely, extremely limited.
Well, that's why Duolingo is here, right, guys?
How long is your Duolingo streak? My brother, if you don't
He's
know,
got a
is
Duolingo
addicted to
streak.
Duolingo. 311 days. His streak is almost 1 year, and he does not speak Spanish.
Okay, then never mind, guys. Do not do Duolingo.
What if they want to sponsor us one day?
Hey, Duolingo. If you are watching our video,
we are supporters. That's
we'll
a
do-
lie. I actually am a supporter. I love Duolingo.
We'll
It's
do
so fun.
any language. I'm down to do Chinese at this point.
Hey, anyways, so
I'm
let's
down for that.
just move on with the episode.
Let's get right into it, y'all.
Today we have an extremely special guest. Before we introduce you, I will say the first time I ever mentioned bringing you up was 2 years ago when we recorded Ingrid's episode.
Yes. Shout out Ingrid.
Shout out to Ingrid because I asked her, I was like, what do you think about bringing Anna? And she was like, oh yeah, you definitely should. And it was when you had first given your testimony at church.
That was a
After
long
that,
time ago.
Yeah. And then I was like, wait, what do you think about bringing her in? And Ingrid was like, I support. And then it finally worked out. So anyways, introduce yourself. This is Anna.
Anna.
It's an honor to be here. I'm so excited.
I'm excited too, guys. You don't even know.
If you guys
Okay.
don't know, by the way, they are like very, very close. This is why they're also very like excited together
So
as
excited.
well.
Very close friends in understatement.
Literally
They're like
understatement.
best friends.
Same
Yeah.
brain.
Same name.
They're twins. They got the same name.
Literally have
They're
the same
twins.
name.
They're literally
Spelling.
Same spelling, which
Same
everyone
spelling,
spells Anna with
yeah.
one N. It's with
Two
two.
N's.
Thank you. Get it right. But yeah, introduce yourself.
My name is Anna. I'm 19 years old. I'm from
We're the
Brazil.
same age. Sorry.
Officially, I'm not who we are. We're the same age. We just got a month left.
Right.
I'm from Brazil. I grew up in church. I came here when I was 10 years old. I was 10 years old and almost turning 11. That was in 2016.
Dang.
2016 was 10 years.
10 years? Almost 10 years ago.
Almost 10 years ago. Yeah.
Wow.
So 9 years. 9
Oh my
years.
gosh.
Yeah.
Did you guys know that in 2 months, 2016 is going to be 10 years ago?
That's crazy. I like to say 2016 was probably the best year of my life.
I was in the 3rd grade, so I really don't know.
Yeah, but a lot of people
Fifth grade.
probably would.
You were in 5th grade?
Yes.
Oh.
I was in 6th grade in 2016.
You're a year apart.
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah, because he's 21.
21.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
Anyways,
old. I'm very old.
Let's continue.
Okay, so I grew up in church. My grandma was a pastor, so I've kind of always like had the church environment. I was not a kids pastor, but my grandma was a pastor, so I kind of always like first to get to church, last one to leave. Kind of the same thing. So I've always used to be also in the worship team. I'm not anymore for a reason, but yeah. So then I came here, and then I was really young, and I was always so shy, so shy. I did not speak at all to people. I didn't speak no English. So then I got here, and we started going to the church that I go to today, and I've never been to the kids class. Never in my entire life. I would cry.
Really?
Like I would be like 10 years old crying because I didn't want to go to class.
Wait, so you've never experienced kids
No.
ministry?
No.
Well, I mean, you help out.
I've helped, but I've never been to kids ministry.
Wow.
Never in my entire life. I tried going once and I was just started crying. So temple, I was always in the temple for my whole life. I couldn't
Hey,
stay.
at least you were
least
receiving.
you were
the
receiving
word.
the
Yeah. But then it was like adult things. So I'm like, oh, I think I'm too young to hear about that kind of things. So I was like, okay. And then I think the first time that I ever went was the day that I got baptized. And I was like an 8th grader by then.
Uh-huh.
And I only say because there was no seats in the temple after baptism. So I was just forced to go. But it was good. So after 2016, I just kind of like lived in the same place, went to the same school and everything. It was really tough at the beginning, but then eventually I got over it. And then in 2019, I was 13 years old, and my dad kind of pushed me out of my bubble. So he was like, oh, there's this retreat happening. Like, you should go. And I'm like, I only go if my sister goes. And I knew my sister, she was going to say no.
Mm.
So in my mind, I was like, okay, I know she's going to say no because, like, once she makes up her mind about something, she can't go back. No one can change her mind.
We love you, Vitalia.
Yeah.
Shout out Victoria.
So we were like, okay, I'll go if Vitalia goes. So then he talked to me. He was like, oh, it's super fun. I went when I was a kid and things like that. So you're really going to enjoy it. And I was like, okay. So then we got home, and then my dad was like, oh, I was talking to your sister in the car, and I think that you and Alada should go to the church retreat. What do you think? And I was like, my mind, she's gonna say no. She just goes like, yeah, I'm going. And I'm like,
Wow.
Plot twist.
and I'm like, oh, I have to go now. So I was like, fine, I'll go. That was in August of 2019. The retreat was in October of 2019.
Mhm.
So then we went there. Also, never been to the youth thing, like the teenagers
This is
thing,
your
to the
first
Fridays.
time.
Yeah. So then, like, my dad didn't want us to go to the retreat and just not knowing how it was. So we started going on Fridays. I went one Friday with her, and I was like, I want to go home. Like, I want my mom, and I just want to start crying. So I was like, yeah. And until that point, I never experienced Jesus in my life. Like, I knew Jesus, but I didn't know Jesus. I knew who he was, but I didn't know him. So on my first service for the teens in 2019 was like 2 weeks before retreat. So that by then we were all ready to go. My first experience was like, one of the leaders at the time was preaching, and he grabbed a bottle, right, and he put a lot of coins in it, and just gave the example of like shaking, and it like a loud noise, and he told us like that's how our mind sounds like sometimes. So I was like, oh, okay. So that really like kind of got to me, because at the time I was experiencing like some crazy sadness that I've never experienced before, and like something was like there was a hole missing, and I didn't know what it was, and I didn't want to tell my parents because I know they were gonna be worried. So I just kept that to myself. I even went to the school therapist,
Wow.
and I found out like this year, after like 6 years, that they actually got into contact with my mom, saying like, oh, we're scared that she might have depression because of how bad it was.
Wow.
So your
So
mom never said anything?
no.
That's very
So
touching.
yeah. So then on that day of the first service, I kind of just like he was like, okay, we're gonna pray now. So I enjoyed it. It was nice. Like, that's the day I met, Ingrid.
Mhm.
And then so we just like, okay. And then we close our eyes, we bow our heads, and we were on the last row. Like, last row. There was no one behind me. And then we got there, we closed our eyes, we bowed our heads, and then I just feel a hug, like, like a physical hug. I feel
Wow.
like a physical hug, and I was like, "Who's hugging
touching
me? I
me?"
don't know anyone here." So then I opened my eyes and I turned around as soon as I felt like the person kind of like
Back away.
backing away. There was no one behind me.
Meu Deus.
There was no one behind me, and then I was like, I looked around and I was like, okay. Then the prayer was still going. The prayer was still going. So I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening? So then I opened my eyes and I was like, okay, that's crazy. So I didn't know what that was. So I got home and I was like, Mom, so I want to tell you something. And she was like, okay. It's like, I felt someone hugging me, but when I opened my eyes, there was no one behind me. She was like, praise God, feeling. And I'm like, okay, but what does it mean though?
What does that mean?
What does it mean? And she was like, just call your grandma. I ended up never calling my grandma because I was like, my mom was the only person who knew at the time.
Mhm.
So I ended up not calling my grandma. And then, okay, so then the whole week passes, those 2 weeks. Retreat day comes, right? We don't know anyone. It's just me and my sister.
Wow,
And
so this was before the retreat.
yes,
Okay.
that was before the retreat. And then 2 weeks later after the service, that was the day of the retreat. We went to the retreat. I didn't know anybody. And then I think that every single service, because we would have a service on Friday night, Saturday morning, and Sunday morning. All of the service, they were playing this one song. Can I say the name of the song?
Mhm.
It's called Nothing Else.
I love. Okay.
So they started playing that one song, and then I just, when you're like, I was singing it, looking at the lyrics on
The screen.
on the screen, and I just kept singing, and I don't know why, but it was just like a heartwarming song that I started crying, and I would cry and cry and cry, and I don't know why, but I would just cry, and then that was the whole weekend for me. And then I obviously met some people there, and I made friends. Then I got home and I was really tired, like coming back from the bus, and then usually when I'm tired and sleepy, I get moody. So then my parents come pick me
That's
up
me
and
too.
they're like,
Sorry.
and then my parents come and pick me up. They're like, how was it? Like, tell me everything. I'm like, Mom, please. Like, I do not want to talk right now because I'm so tired. And then she was like, okay. But she was so excited to hear, but I was a little bit mean to her. And then I just kind of like, I laid my head in the window and I slept. And then I remember before falling asleep, I was like, I'm sorry, Jesus. And that was the first time I ever apologized.
Wow.
That was the first time I ever apologized. So then I was like, I'm sorry, Jesus, because I knew that I just was rude to my mom. I was like, I'm sorry, Jesus. Then I just fell asleep. And then the next day at school, I don't know why, but I was so happy. And like, there was nothing like, I was fulfilled. Like, I truly felt fulfilled. And then, like, this group that I had in my math class that I would sit with every day, they were like, you seem different. And I'm like, how different? They were like, you seem happier. And I'm like, it's God. And that was the first time I ever like preached the gospel to someone.
Wow.
Yeah, and I didn't know. I was like, it was God. And that's how it went. And then I was just known as
The church girl.
the church
Uh-huh.
girl, the Christian girl, the it's not gonna last, the church thing girl,
Wow.
the you're brainwashed kind of thing.
Wow.
The whole middle school. The whole middle school
Crazy.
years. Yeah, so then after from that point on, I don't think I've ever stopped. Like,
You really haven't, yeah.
yeah, it got really hard, and that was like 6 years ago. It was like this month was 6 years ago.
Yes,
I saw
actually,
your
yeah.
post. It was actually really.
Celebrated her 6th-year anniversary
I
of her
did.
meeting Jesus.
And it was like every year I'm just like, wow. Like, I was 13, now I'm like 19, and I haven't stopped. And it obviously just keeps getting harder, but like,
At the same time, it gets
Yeah.
easier.
yes,
The more that you lean on the Lord, like, yes, our life gets harder. Yes, we have trials and tribulations. But, like, the closer you get to the Lord and the more that you rely on Him, the easier it becomes.
Mhm.
Because you actually know how to get through something because you're not doing it alone.
Yeah,
You're giving it to the Lord and you're letting Him take care of it.
yeah,
And we're not supposed to carry these things alone. So it's like, that's all God, you know?
Mhm.
yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah, that's how you met the Lord.
That's how I met the Lord.
And it's so funny because when I met you, the person who introduced us told me, they were like, oh my gosh, I have these like really good Christian friends, you know? So like that was literally my first
Yeah.
impression of you. Was like, oh, she's a Christian. She goes to a church that I'm friends with that I know a lot of people from. And then as I started following you on Instagram and we started, sorry, Alicia. I'm sorry. As I started getting to know you, I was like, dang, this woman is full of the Holy Spirit. Like I've always seen joy and like peace in you. That's always what you've given, and you've given the Holy Spirit like for forever that I've known you. So God really is working. Because if you're saying this, that you were known for being sad, the Lord definitely flipped it
Yeah.
around. And I'm really grateful because through you, so many people have come to Christ. Through you, so many people's lives have been transformed, you know?
Yeah.
My life especially. So Anna
Girl.
actually, okay, let me tell you a little story. So how many 77 days ago or 76 days ago? What chapter we're on today? 76, right?
Yeah.
Yesterday was 75? Pause. Yes, it was, right? Did I read the wrong chapter?
No,
Okay.
it was 75.
Okay, good.
It was
Okay.
75.
So 75 days ago, Anna Laura texted me one day and she goes, a psalm a day keeps anxiety away. Today we're going to read Psalms chapter 2. And I was like,
I don't know where.
literally, no, I don't even know why like that conversation started. But that's what she said. And then we were like, okay. 76 days later, we're still keeping it strong.
We're still.
So that kind of started. And like through that, like the Lord truly has kept my anxiety away. And like that forced me to start reading my Bible again. And I'm so happy because I was in a rut. Like I was in a stage of life where I just was not reading my Bible and I wanted to, and I physically could not bring myself to do it. And like that healed me, and the Lord started working through that. You know what I'm saying? And now like I cannot go to sleep without reading at least a chapter, at least. And most days I'm reading multiple because we're also doing the 90-day fast.
Yeah.
And now we're reading Romans. Bro, like
I love
every night,
Romans.
I'm like so excited to read Romans. Like I'm just so excited to open my Bible, and I'm really happy that the Lord did transform me. And it's all thanks to you. It's all thanks to the Lord using you. So praise the Lord for your life.
I saw the someone that keeps anxiety away. I saw a video on TikTok of a girl that she would post Psalms every single day. And I was like, hold on. And I immediately thought of you. Like, I'm going to do this with Anna. And then I just randomly, out of nowhere, a Psalm a day keeps anxiety away.
I love the message. Hold on. Like I don't think you guys understand. It was very, very, very random.
Out of nowhere. And it was a time where we were both struggling with anxiety.
We were.
It was bad.
Yeah.
Like, it was really bad.
Yeah.
But truly, a psalm a day does keep the anxiety
Anxiety
away.
away.
So
It has
guys,
been.
that means
Oh my gosh,
whenever
I
y'all are
literally just-
anxious,
But I
open up
Hope
Psalms.
Hello? Who's playing music? Did you hear that?
It was Denny stretching. He made like
That
a
was
little.
you stretching? I
He
thought
made a little-
Forrest Frank started playing.
Forrest
Sorry.
Frank.
Sorry.
Dang, she calling you Forrest Frank.
It started on August 11th.
August 11th?
It's Eric's birthday.
That's my brother. Hey, Eric. They started
It
that
is
on your birthday,
October
bro.
25th.
They started that on your birthday.
Girl.
That's
That's a
crazy.
little Eric
Oh my
flair in there.
But yeah, so
And we're just mentally preparing for Psalm 119.
literally, mentally, like in my mind, I'm like, Psalm 19 is coming up. Psalm 119 is coming up. I'm going to spend a good 3 hours that night by reading and highlighting and praying.
highlighting the whole chapter.
Right, everything's
Highlight the
yellow,
whole
yellow, yellow,
chapter.
yellow, or pink. My highlight is pink. Anyways, but yeah, so that's how you met the Lord, and ever since then, you've been seeking God, and we just wanted to know more about like your connection with the Lord. Like, tell us a little more of like, you know what I'm talking about, like any other testimony.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. So, okay, so I was 13. I got baptized a month later. I was 14 then. And then middle school over, then high school started. And that's when things started getting a little bit.
Can I say something really quick?
Yeah.
Did you guys know you guys went to high school together?
Yes, I do.
The same
know.
years?
Oh, yes, you did
do
go.
know. I do know that. Yeah.
You guys were in high school together
Yeah.
for 2 years.
I didn't even notice that, but I remember you had told me
Because
that.
when you were a junior, I think you were a freshman.
No. She was a sophomore, right? I was a senior. You were a junior.
When did you graduate high school? Before you graduated?
2024.
So yeah,
You graduated
I was a
2022.
senior, she was a junior.
Because my
No,
freshman
she's
year was
sophomore.
online.
Oh,
Yeah.
If my
Yes,
freshman
yes.
year was online, then your
Your
sophomore year was online.
yes. So I was a
Yeah.
senior. She was a sophomore.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's right. Okay.
But
makes
I don't think we were close at then, so I didn't even know who Nick was. Sorry.
I didn't even
No,
know.
no,
who Nick-
I-
I didn't even know who Nick was.
I didn't know either. No, but it is true. We did go to school together.
Never saw each other.
Never saw each
Who
other.
would have thought? Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Anyway,
3 years late. 3 years late. 3 years later.
3 years. Yeah.
Nick is old, bro.
Yeah. I am very old. Wow,
Okay.
3 years ago I graduated from high school.
Anyways,
That's
go ahead.
crazy.
That's crazy. So, anyways,
Okay. So then high school, that's when it started getting a little bit tricky, you know. And I was always the kind of person where I was like, I remember telling my mom, I was like, I'm scared of going to high school because I'm scared of like, you know, like somehow like falling and then like not being able to come back up. That kind of happened at one point. So freshman year was okay. Sophomore year, that's when things started getting a little bit tricky, right? So I started making a lot of friends, which it was really good, but I was friends with the wrong people. And I didn't know, you know, when you don't listen to your mom, I didn't listen to my mom. And because my mom was always so chill, but I should have listened to my dad when he was like, when he would say something, and I didn't. So in 2022, all the way to a little bit 2023, I started having this friendship that it kind of became a situationship at one point with a boy. And it was really bad because we were completely the opposite. And it was at one point where I already was already diagnosed with anxiety and social anxiety. And then I went from that to getting diagnosed with codependency. And that was because I was codependent on this person. And I didn't know. I thought that like I was doing the Lord's job. I thought I was bringing him close to Jesus. I thought that I was doing everything that I was supposed to do, but I wasn't. I really wasn't. And it kind of like started hurting me like through all of my friendship years with this person. It got to a point where like you guys know what love bombing is, right?
yeah.
So when you feel like someone is drifting away, you just love bomb them so they would stay. And that's how it was a whole year of that in my life. At the beginning, it wasn't like that, but it got to a point where it was. So it was like I was still reading my Bible, I was still praying, but I was also having, because codependency is an idol. Like you make
Yeah.
someone your idol. Like they're first. Like your happiness depends on them. How your day goes depends on them. Your routine depends on them. So it kind of, this friendship kind of became an idol in my life for like a whole year. And I didn't want to let go. In my mind, I was like, okay, if God doesn't want me to be friends with this person anymore, then he's just gonna remove them. But God wanted me to remove this person from my life because it was an idol and I had to remove it. So it was really hurtful. So this person graduated before me. So in my mind, I was like, I'm gonna wait till third graduation. So that way I don't have to do anything. That way, like, we just don't see each other again. I was all wrong. I was all wrong. I was doing discipleship with one of my leaders at the time, who was also my teacher in my high school.
wow.
Yes, I love
Such a
her.
queen. She's
I
such
love
a
her
queen.
so much. She was my chemistry teacher in junior year. But outside of church, at one point, I did stop going to the Fridays
Mhm.
during my sophomore year because I wanted to hang out with this person.
Wow.
So I didn't know that she was my leader until Ingrid told me.
Mhm.
Ingrid's like, "Oh, she's also your teacher." I'm like,
Wait, I really want to know who this teacher is because I had
I don't think-
chemistry in junior
"Did you
year.
have bilingual chemistry teacher?"
No.
Okay, then you.
Okay,
then
okay.
you didn't.
I
Yeah.
had chemistry.
You'll meet her. Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll meet
Yeah.
her soon.
So I started doing like discipleship with her. So even when I was struggling like during the school year, she had lunch in seventh period, and I was like, "Can I go to your class during seventh period?" And then I would just go there, and sometimes I would cry my eyes out because something happened, or this person was ignoring me, or this person, I don't know. So she was with me the whole time, and then at one point she was like, "You have to let this go." Because it's hurting you and it's not doing you good, and look what it's doing to you. You're not even going to church anymore. And I was like, no, I will. I'm going to do that. I ended up never doing it. One day I went to this person's birthday party and my dad picked me up. And it was an environment that I was never going to be in. If you were to ask me like a couple years ago before that, like it was a drinking environment, like a smoking environment. I was never going to be in that environment by choice. And that was the day where we had a conference at church and I skipped that. And
Wow.
I was never the type of person that would skip church, and I did. So my dad picked me up from the house and he was like, "I don't recognize you anymore." Like,
That's right, you, Lucas. Uh-huh.
yeah.
Wow, that's a good
He was like,
father.
"I don't recognize you anymore. You lost your spark. I don't recognize you anymore. Like, you're skipping church. You don't want to go to Friday." I didn't want to go to
That's
Sundays. Would give me anxiety. Being at church on Sunday would give me anxiety,
Mhm.
and I couldn't stay inside the temple. So I would just stop going. And then my dad's like, "I don't recognize you anymore." So I was like, "Okay." And then after that, the person graduated, and then started I started doing baby steps with my therapist. The first step was not texting the person as soon as I would wake up.
Mhm.
And I was like, "Okay, I'm not gonna text the person as soon as I wake up." And then it got to a point where I could go a whole day without texting this person. And then that whole day became a whole week, then a whole month. And I eventually lost contact with this person. I was like, "Yay, I'm set free," and everything. So the whole process, I was just like, "Lord, please help me because this is so painful." Like I wanted to cry every single day. I didn't want to go anywhere. Like it was really hard. And then 2023 was the year that I was like, "Okay, I'm not staying on this anymore. Like I have to do something." So then I cut contact. I didn't let the person know that I was cutting contact. I just stopped texting and I stopped responding. And that's when like the healing process kind of like begun a little bit, where I was like, "Okay." And then the Lord really became my best friend during that time. And it was like, I think it was my best, like the best season that I was in. It was such a painful season, but it was my favorite one because I felt like he was my best friend. I felt like he was my best friend. So like I would wake up and then I would spend a long time reading my Bible and praying, and then I was able to go back to church. I was always the biggest. Oh my gosh, I hated public speaking. Hate it. And I was able to step out of my comfort zone to do that.
Mhm.
It was that year that I first spoke in front of the whole
Yeah.
church telling my testimony.
Yeah, and I remember
That was my
I
first
remember
time.
Ingrid brought that up, and I was like, yeah, no, we
When I showed
definitely.
you the video.
Yeah, I was like, no, we 100% have to.
It was like my first time.
hear it.
And then okay, the healing process was that was already 2023. Then I was the healing process, the God was with me the whole time, and I felt it. Like, and I would have dreams and things like that. So it was like the whole thing. And then the same year we had a retreat.
Mhm.
Guess the name of the retreat? 2023.
I know the name of the retreat, and I can't remember the name.
Jesus is my best friend.
No, it was something about like overcoming, or like healing, right? Or no?
It was No Other Love.
Oh,
yeah, wait, I do remember.
That's
I
right,
remember.
Uh-huh,
Yes,
uh-huh.
yes, I do remember that.
It was No Other Love. And I was like, okay, because I was grieving like the loss of a friend who wasn't really my friend, and then I was like heartbroken, like because I liked this boy, and
Right.
I thought he liked me too, but it was just like
Toxic.
it was like narcissistic at one point.
Mhm.
And the theme of the retreat was No Other Love, and I was like, okay, I'm ready, like I'm so ready. And then at that retreat, oh my gosh, the same thing that happened like years before that happened again,
Mhm.
but it was a song that I don't think I can say because it's not a release song yet.
Oh, yes, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm
Yes,
talking
I know what you're talking about.
We know
I know
what
what you're
you're
talking about.
talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
When you said no other
Waiting.
love, I was like,
I do know this
Yeah,
one.
I thought
Yes, I
okay,
do
okay.
know. I
I
do
was
know.
gonna say this. stay tuned because we're gonna talk about it on the podcast
One day.
One day.
next year. You know who you are. You know who you are.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
wow.
I'm trying to bring you on again, okay? We're trying to talk about this song, okay? Mhm.
The song, oh my gosh. I keep listening on Planning Center all the time.
That's so
'Cause you
real.
just love the
I listened to
song.
the song
Wow,
on
and
Planning
I'm like,
Center.
Put it on my Spotify. Like, what are
Right.
you waiting for? It's been 2 years.
Right. I want to name drop so bad.
Yes.
Don't.
I'm not gonna do it.
If this person is watching,
You know who you are.
You know who.
This is a threat.
I've
Release this song.
been bugging for this song and another song because the 2022 retreat was Till Nothing Else Matters.
and I heard that this
you
person
know.
also, I too,
And I've been waiting for these 2 songs and I'm like,
and I heard it's not just you. I heard it's a bunch of people that
Yeah, I've been
Yes.
asking him to post
every
it.
time I post it being like, hey, release this. Everybody's like, yes. Like, we want him to release it. Like,
And he's like, guys,
just chill. He's so patient because I'm not that patient.
Yeah.
I'm not that patient.
anyways.
Anyway.
Enough about this
But-
friend.
But that song was the theme of the retreat, No Wonder Love. And then it was just kind of
I
like,
this. Yeah, you got it. Mhm.
okay, thank you. And so by the time that I got to the retreat, like it was a whole different experience because I knew like people, I had friends and everything like that. And that was a retreat where God was like, now you know that like no one can love you like I do, right?
Mm.
And I was like, yep. Yep. Now I know. And from that one point, that one point on, it was hard to forgive at one point. But I decided that I had to. I didn't want to. I didn't even want to like hear the name like of the person. Like I would call this person Voldemort. Like cuz we don't say the person's name. Like we would call the person that cuz I didn't want to hear like,
About
the name
mhm.
because it was so painful. And then people were being like, "Oh, but he didn't do that." So I'm like,
Mhm.
"Excuse you?"
Yeah.
Mhm.
So after that, I was like, "Okay, like I actually know that." I talked to my pastor one day. He was like, "The codependency is not your label. Like, it's not your identity. So you're codependent, like
Mentally.
mentally, but that's not who you are."
Mm.
So I was like, at that time I didn't know that, but then at one point God was like, "You're my daughter. Like you're not codependent. Like you're my daughter." And I was like, "Okay." And then it took me a while to take that in, but eventually I was able to take that in. And then a few years passed, and today, not codependent anymore. So, but it took me a long time.
See, Jesus heals.
Yeah.
And I will say, a lot of people don't think that like Jesus can heal mental illness. Bro,
No.
it doesn't matter. Jesus heals anything and
Anything.
everything.
Yeah.
And can I just say, I feel like touching on mental illness, I feel like it's something that's not really talked about enough. I feel
In the
Mhm.
Christian
in the
aspect.
Christian aspect.
You're so right
in the
because
church.
in the secular world, we talk about mental illness all, the time.
time.
Mental health awareness, this,
Yes.
and the third. But in the church, it's kind of like, oh, if you have mental illness, like, okay, then you're not Christian. Like
Or
you
some
didn't
people-
accept Jesus.
Yeah.
So I've even heard this thing. It's like, oh, if you have mental illness, it's demonic. You gotta be delivered.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
Some people have
bro,
said that to me before.
It's like not everything is like that spiritual. You know, there's mental illness truly exists,
Mhm.
and so like it needs to be treated the way a mental illness should be treated. But that doesn't mean God can't heal that either.
Yeah.
God could still heal in that
God heals
too.
everything. So
Yeah.
if
He
you're
does.
someone who's been struggling with maybe codependency,
Yeah.
anxiety, depression, anything at all that could be considered mental illness or mental health problems, Jesus can and will
Yes.
set you free.
Yes.
And
Give it to him.
And listen, don't think it's anything stupid. Because like
It's
I said, a lot
not.
of people think that it is. It's like this demonic thing or sort of no. Because it's not. And once you put that in the light out there, I feel like it'll even help other people too. Like I feel like you even touching on a topic like codependency, maybe someone here is even saying, hey, I relate to that too. And God could heal in that too. So yeah. So don't ever think that it's stupid to think that you have something like this. Because man, to God, nothing is impossible.
Yes.
Man. Mhm.
Yes.
And there is no other love.
And
Other
there
than the
is.
Lord. Like-
Shout out. I won't say who.
It makes me want to say names so
No,
bad.
can we not talk about
Yeah,
them?
let's
Because
just-
I
let's just
actually
move
will
on.
spoil something. Okay.
Or else this person will actually get mad at us.
So, anyways, no, but
Anyways.
I think also one thing I want to touch on is do not let anyone take the place of God in your life.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this we're talking about like people that we like. Do not like a crush, a boyfriend, or a girlfriend. take you away from the presence of the Lord.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, like you thought you were doing the right thing, you were bringing them to Christ,
Yeah.
making them closer. That person was not getting close to
Yeah,
God.
if anything, I was the one getting farther away from
Yeah,
Christ.
100%.
Like,
So, like, it's never worth it
yeah.
to lose your salvation because you're so obsessed or you're so dependent or you're just so in love, quotation marks,
Mhm.
That's true.
of one person who is the opposite of what Christ wants for you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Another thing too, me and Anna, we're gonna talk about this. God is like the ultimate dad.
Yeah.
Like the
He's such a
ultimate-
girl
He's such a
dad.
girl dad. High key. Sorry, Nick. He's a really no, but he is a boy dad.
He's a boy dad.
He's
He
such
really
a boy
is.
dad. But like, for it's like we say that all the
it's
time.
for-
I like to say it like
personal.
this for in the perspective of God being a girl dad, he shows his love in such an unconditional
Yeah,
way.
like
Yes.
he's like such like I'm like this. These are my princesses.
Yes.
You know what I'm
But
saying?
for us men, he shows his love
These are
through
my
like
men.
a refining way.
Yes, like, these are
Like,
my
he puts
men.
he puts us through the fire, but he's like, listen, but I do this out of love because I want to shape you in the way that I see you.
You know what's funny? Pastora Adriana told me that one time. So at my church, I'm gonna sidetrack really quick. I'm gonna get back to the girl dad topic. But we were having a preaching. It was for dads and their little girls.
Yeah.
Okay, and basically the whole like Pastora Adriana preached to the men, and then the girls got a preaching, and then the men they gave their girls flowers, and there was a part where they danced to Aos Olhos do Pai by Diante do Trono. It was beautiful. I literally cried the whole time. It was so cute.
Yeah.
Anyways, and she comes up to me and she was like, "Bro," she didn't say bro, but she was like, "Anninha, God loves men, and God has something so special, such a special type of love for men."
Mhm.
So I'm gonna keep that there. But going back to the girl dad thing, God does not want to see his princesses getting hurt,
Yeah.
and he does not want to see his princesses getting like enganado. How do you say that? Like
Trick.
yeah,
yeah,
tricked, I guess.
manipulated.
Or, like,
even,
manipulated
yeah.
by
Manipulated.
boys who don't treat his daughters well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, let's say that you're a dad, like, and your daughter starts dating like a douchebag,
Oh.
or starts dating a guy who does not respect her, who's always flirting with other women,
Yeah.
who's always just doing bad things.
Mhm.
Wouldn't you, as a dad,
Be okay
want your
with
daughter
it.
to like end that relationship and never talk to them again?
Yeah.
God is the same way with us,
Mhm.
and not just in relationships, but friendships.
Yes.
God never wants us to be in any type of relationship with somebody who is going to harm us,
Mhm.
because that's his fatherly love for us.
Exactly.
So if you're someone who is struggling, know that God is your dad.
Yes.
Like, he loves you because you are his daughter or his son,
Yeah.
and he does not want you to remain in that state.
yeah.
Amen.
And that was definitely proof for your life.
It was.
is.
I was at the time I was reading a book, and I love fiction, like Christian books,
Mhm.
kind of like princess and warriors and
Uh-huh.
like wars and
Yeah.
like that kind of vibe. And there's like this Christian author that she writes fantasies and romance, and I was like,
This is for me.
yes. And I've been wanting this book since 2020, and I got it to 2023, and it was about the daughter finding her identity in her father. That yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
She was a princess and he was a king, and then it was to represent Jesus and
Right,
like the
uh-huh.
daughters. And I'm like,
That's
I'm a princess.
that's your identity. You are a
Yeah.
princess or a
Yeah.
prince of the Lord, and like no one can take that away from you.
Yeah.
No one.
I was even gonna say, like, because your pastor had said, right, like, don't use the codependency as like a label. Like, that does not define you or label
Yeah.
you who you are. I feel like a lot of times when we have like something that we're diagnosed with or something inside of us that doesn't really make us happy, that's a part of us, we kind of let that kind of define who we are
Mm-hmm.
many times. And it kind of in messages like that, no, remind yourselves that, like, to all the girls out there, like, you are a princess to God's eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't let the anxiety or like the codependency or whatever it may be that you're struggling with, don't let that define you.
Yes.
Let the worst that you have in Christ's eyes that he sees so brilliantly in you, like, let that be a reminder in you. And to us men as well, like, even though sometimes we may think we mess up and we're not perfect or and all that, we'll never be perfect, but remind yourselves that, like, God sees such a beautiful masterpiece in us.
Yes.
And that no matter what you're going through, no matter what it is that you have, like, God doesn't look at that as the label of your life. He looks at you as, this is my son, this is my child, my creation who I've created. And I guess if we just keep reminding ourselves that, I guess we'll get to see how much more that God will actually transform us, how much he will heal us, how much he will bring us to places that we probably have never even imagined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just kind of like going back, I just remembered something. So about my epilepsy, right?
Oh yeah. So I don't know if I didn't know if you wanted to talk about that.
No, yeah, I just kind of wanted to like, cause that's the point where I realized how my codependency was bad.
Mm.
How I was diagnosed first with epilepsy was I got home from school, I took a nap, I woke up from the nap very sleepy. I got close to the stairs and I fell down the flight of stairs at my house.
Oh, you actually fell down the stairs.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, this whole time I,
I had
thought
an
that it happened
episode-
when you were down the stairs already.
No, I had an episode and I fell down the stairs, and my heart kind of stopped for a moment there.
Wait, can we
Wow.
pause real quick? Can you explain like kind of what epilepsy is?
It's seizures, but like sometimes it happens kind of like when you see movies, like your whole body shakes. Sometimes it's silent. Mine are silent, so it's like to people it looks like I'm zoning out, but I'm just losing conscious, like with my eyes open. Sometimes it looks like when I don't like take my medication, my body physically like
Seizes.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
seizes.
Uh-huh.
But the day that I fell down the stairs, I had a silent one that I was conscious, and I just fell down. When I fell down, my body reacted to it.
Uh-huh.
I only remember waking up in the ambulance,
Wow.
and my mom has a picture, and like there was blood on my mouth, things like that. I was all hurt.
Really?
Yes. They called the ambulance, and my neighbor was doing CPR on me and everything like that. And then I remember the paramedic being like, "What year is this?" And I'm like, "2023," because I was asking in English, and I was like, "Where am I?" Like, then I saw myself, I was like, and she was like, "You fell down the stairs."
Your sister
When-
said?
Yeah. When I got to the ER, mind you, I just fell down the stairs. I was unconscious. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know what happened. I went and saw my mom. I was like, "Can you please call this person, the person that I have codependency on? Because if he calls me and I don't pick up, he's going to ignore me." That's the first thing I
Wow.
said when I woke up in the hospital
From a seizure.
from a seizure.
That is insane.
And your first ever seizure, mind you. That's
That
crazy.
is
It was that bad. I was like, "Can you please call him, or else he's going to be mad at me that I didn't pick up the phone. He's going to ignore me for weeks." That's the first thing I said. I saw my dad crying. My dad doesn't cry, and all I
We thought
cared
you were
about.
gonna die.
Yes, my heart stopped, and then like the nurse was explaining to me like, "Oh, you had an episode. You fell down the stairs. Like your body's not hurt. Like only your mouth because I was biting my tongue."
Mhm.
But that's like, it was still. I had to say like overnight at the hospital. All I care about was please call him or he's gonna get mad at me.
Wow.
right in that moment.
And-
It's insane.
I looking back, I was like, how stupid, but like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know, and I was struggling with this. So it's kind of like it took me a while to have mercy on myself back then, because it's always
Yeah.
look back and you're like, oh my gosh,
You're
I
so
was so
stupid.
stupid. Like,
Yeah.
why
Put
would you
yourself-
do that?
Put yourself back in those shoes.
Yes,
You didn't know any better.
I didn't.
That's another thing too. Do not blame yourself for how you acted in the past, or for maybe how like because a lot of us hold anger towards ourselves
Yeah.
Mhm.
for like how dumb we acted when we were kids, or for the dumb things that we did. Don't do that,
Yeah.
because that's all part of the learning process.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Even though like you said, it sucked, but you're grateful that you went through it. 'Cause it
Yeah.
also brought you closer to the Lord.
It
Yeah.
did.
Exactly.
And then your epilepsy episode. How did you end up getting diagnosed? Was it that day?
It wasn't that day. So the doctor, since I hit my head and they did a bunch of scans, the doctor wanted to see me after 6 months of my accident to check up on me.
Mhm.
So
You have a concussion too, because you hit your head.
I don't think so. I don't remember. But then I went back 6 months later for a neuroconsult just to check up, see how am I doing. And my mom was like insisting, tell them that sometimes you black out. Tell them sometimes you black out.
Mhm.
And that would happen like for years in my life. And I just thought that I was not paying attention.
Oh.
I just thought that I was like being slow.
Uh-huh.
And like so my sister would wake me up and talk to me. And I'm like, uh-huh. And I didn't hear
You were
anything.
just kind of just like
Yeah.
going
So
like
then-
disassociate.
Yeah, my mom was like, just tell them. And I'm like, it's not necessary. Like, it has nothing to do with nothing.
Uh-huh.
Like, she was like, if you don't tell them, I will. And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll say it. And then the doctor came in and he did a whole checkup and he was like, do you have any questions? I'm like, yes. My mom wants me to mention that I have blackouts sometimes. And he was like, did it happen before the accident? I'm like, yes.
My whole
And
life.
then we thought that I just fell down the stairs because I bent down to grab something that fell from my hand.
Uh-huh.
No, it was my
You
episode.
blacked out.
I
Wow.
blacked out,
Mhm.
and you're like, yeah, you have seizures, and I'm like, I don't feel anything on my body. Like it lasts for seconds. It was like, yeah, yours is it's called silent seizures. I'm like,
Hmm.
got it. Okay.
So this whole time I've been having
this
a
whole
seizure.
time, and I didn't know.
Mhm.
Yeah, but They say it's for life, but it's not for life.
Amen.
It's not
That's
for
right.
life.
Man.
I remember not recently, a few months ago, you did have a really bad
I
episode.
did on Father's
That was
Day.
scary.
My doctor didn't send me medications.
Yeah.
I called her and she was like, "I'm running out," and then she just never responded. So I spent 3 days with no medication. I thought I was fine because I didn't have anything. I thought I was like fine, no seizures.
Yay.
Sunday, Father's Day, my grandparents were here. They've never seen me have an episode. Larry hasn't either.
Mhm.
That was the first day they've seen me get an episode.
And that episode was bad. I remember.
It was the worst.
Yeah.
Worse than the first one.
Yeah.
It was. I woke up and I was like, again. I was like, again. And then they were like, they blamed me. They were like, you should know when like your medications run out. I'm like,
It wasn't my fault.
I did. But
That's
anyways.
besides the point. But God
Yeah.
is so good. And actually, right before we finish, I do want to talk about Larry real quick.
Yes.
Because Larry is a victory
Shout
story
out
in your
Larry.
life.
Shout out.
If you want to
Larry.
talk a little bit about him. I know he's super shy, but Larry, we're going to talk about you. Okay, buddy? Okay.
So we were friends for like 2 years.
Uh-huh.
For 2 years. And it was a time where I was still struggling with codependency. So I knew who he was, but I never really talked to him. And then I think that one point when I started like becoming a senior in high school or like finishing junior year, we started like getting close because of our small group. Started getting close, like, and I don't remember how we got close. It was just like it clicked,
Mhm.
you know. And we were just like, okay, so you're my friend. And the first day that like I've actually seen him, I was like, he's lucky cute. So we after church we all hung out at the beach, and I was like, he got there, and I was like, he's lucky cute,
Like,
low
low-key?
key. So I was like, no, we're 4 years apart. Nope, absolutely not. He's never going to see me that way. So I just kind of like pushed my feelings down for like a few years. I was like my hit. I don't know how to say that,
That's
but
like a warrior.
yeah, because I waited. Like we were 4 years apart, and I was like, he's never going to see me like that. So then I was like, okay. And then 2023 or last year, we started getting really close, and we were like, hey, you're my best friend. He was like, you're my best friend too. And then he was just like, like, I was like, I heard that you like this girl. Do you like her? And then he was like, no, we're just friends. And I was like,
Oh, so I got a chance. Okay, say less.
because this girl she was one of my friends, so I didn't want to like, if she liked him, I wasn't gonna go for him.
Mhm.
But then I asked her like, kind of to
Like, hey, like, what's
Yeah.
going on with you and Larry?
yeah, and she was like, no, we're just friends, and I'm like, oh,
Good to know.
really? So, but I had no intention of like getting with him like the whole time that we were friends. We were actually friends, and we had like a very good intimacy with one another, where like I knew things about him that no one didn't, and he knew things about me that no one didn't, but it all kept friendly until last year. At one point, I was like, okay, so she doesn't like him, he doesn't like her. I was like, I was on vacation, and I remember I was like, Jesus, listen, I like him. I was also lying to Jesus.
Right.
Double homicide.
Double homicide.
Lying to him, lying to myself, and to the Lord. Like,
Triple homicide. So I was like, Jesus, I'm not gonna lie to you anymore. I like him, but if we're only meant to be friends, I'm fine with that.
Mhm.
The next day, he's like, I like you. The next day,
That's crazy.
and I was like, oh no, he played a game of second
He did play a game.
guessing. So he was like, there might be a girl, and I'm like, you tell me right now, because
I hate
every
that,
time
bro.
there's a boy, I tell you. And he's like, I'm not telling you. And I'm like, why not? He was like, I'm not sure yet. And I'm like, you're telling me even if you're not sure. So I just opened the small groups, like group chat,
Mhm.
and I went through every single girl who was single, every single girl. And I left me for last, because I was like, imagine if I say me. And he's like, no.
Right.
And I was like, I'm not about to do that. So I went through the whole thing, like all the way down. And then I was like, okay, there's no one else. He was like, there is someone else. And I'm like, it's not me, is it? And he was like, are you kidding? And
I know those guys. You have to be there. Okay, anyways.
you had to be there. He was like, are you kidding? And I'm like, can you just tell me already? Like, I'm going crazy. It was 1 a.m. Like, we were playing Among Us and everything like
Oh
that.
my
Hey guys, can we please play Among Us today? Please play Among Us.
Oh my god.
I've been begging you guys for a week.
I'll play with you. Anna.
Thank you.
I'll play with you. So he was like, it's you. And I'm like, oh.
Amen.
I was like, okay. So Victoria was sleeping right next to me. And I was like, okay. And then he explained the whole thing, like, if it doesn't work out, like I want us to be friends because I value your friendship. And I'm like, I like you too. And then he was like, okay. First rule, if it doesn't work out, we'll continue being friends because I value your friendship too much for for it to end
get
over
ruined.
this. And then we were like, he was like, don't tell anyone until we know for sure. I was like, okay. I came back from vacation. Retreat last year happens. No one knew. And then I remember
suspected.
there was a picture.
There's a picture.
There was a picture. I mean,
it's hard to hide stuff like that.
we couldn't really hide. We're spending a whole weekend together.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
we couldn't really hide. We were good. It was just on the bus back home that like,
on his shoulder.
and then they
On the
got
bus, on
they
the
got
bus.
with the digital camera and everything. Even
Her
our
leader, her
pastor.
pastor took a picture of them.
And I just woke up with him saying like a prophetic picture, like.
Anyways,
And we were already talking, but when he said don't tell anyone, he didn't include my family, so
I feel like that doesn't count.
it doesn't. But I
But
was
also,
like
I feel like your family has to know what's going on because they know you better than anyone.
true, but I really thought that he was like, don't even tell your family. But I was allowed to tell my family, but I didn't.
Thank you.
So one day my mom was going with me to my class, right? At college. I was already at college by then. And I was like, Mom, I'm talking to Larry. And she was like, she yelled. She was, I'm not gonna yell because, you know, but do you know what it's like having the whole street look at you?
Yes.
She yelled out of happiness. She was like,
That's so her. That's so her.
she's like, wait, I'm gonna. And she loved him like since forever. Like, so I was like, is this good? Is this
Right,
bad?
why
Like,
are
are
you
you
yelling?
yelling? Of like, what are you yelling? She was like, oh, you like him? You guys are talking? You guys want to date? I'm like, yes. Like, oh, I'm so happy for that. So she had a good reaction. I was terrified to tell my dad. Terrified. I told my dad, I was like, I'm gonna tell my pastor first, and then I'm gonna tell my dad because I was like, maybe my pastor can help me on how to talk to my dad because my pastor's a dad, you know?
Right.
But then I was like putting the dishes away with my mom, and she was like, just tell him. I'm like, fine. Then it was like, I went to him, I sat down, he was playing video games. I literally sat down like this, looking at him the whole time, just waiting for him to look at me. And then my mom was like, Lucas, she has something to tell you. And he was like, yes. And I'm like, Dad, I'm talking to someone. And he was like, who? Larry. Okay. And then he said something that really made me a little bit peaceful. He was like, I have no doubt about this. I have no worries. I have peace. So, okay. And it was the first time my dad ever said, okay. To me, yes.
Well, yeah, because every other experience you had was,
Yes.
a good experience. Like,
And he was really worried about me that I was going to go back to the same stage that I was. But I told Larry, I was like, if it gets to the stage that I once was, we're over. Like, because I'm not going to go back to that.
Right.
And he was like, okay. And then we had a lot of family dinners and things like that. And we prayed for a whole month for our relationship because we knew we wanted to date. And it was like working out. We talked to our pastor supported us. And then tomorrow's gonna be a year that he asked me to be his girlfriend.
Tell me how he asked you because this was
Yes.
confirmation from the Lord the way that he asked you.
So I love sunflowers. He took me to a sunflower field.
Yeah.
And he asked me with sunflowers on his hand. I'm being specific because of details. It was like an hour away, but I was so nervous because he was my first everything, first boyfriend, first kiss, first everything. Like, I was so nervous. I was like, I was like, okay. So then he asked. I was like, yes, of course. I thought he was joking, but he wasn't. So then we go back home. We drive back home, and it was an hour driving, and the car was just silent because I was like,
oh my gosh, I have a boyfriend.
Super nervous. And then on the drive back, I was really sleepy. And then I remember of something that I wrote when I was 16, and I was 18 when he asked. When I was 16, I wrote actually 15.
Yeah, that's right.
I was 15. I wrote a letter to God being like, this is a way that you can, show, like, confirm that, that this future boy, like, it's supposed to be the one I'm supposed to be with, right? But I never really believed the thing like that God confirms relationships.
Yeah.
So then I remembered that in the letter I wrote that he would give me one sunflower or a bouquet of sunflowers when he was going to ask me. That was a way of God confirming it. And I completely forgot about that. I never told him anything of how I wanted him to ask. never, because I had forgot about the letter.
Uh-huh.
Then I was like, Amor, you're not gonna believe this. And then I go back and I was like, oh, please don't, because we thought he was always throwing my stuff away in my notebooks. I was like, please, please be there, please be there. I open my notebook and the letter is there, and I even have the date on it.
You sent me the letter.
I
When you got home,
did.
she sent me a picture of the letter. And was it before or was it after he asked you?
It was after.
It was after.
It was
Because
after.
Before he asked you, you told like, Anninha, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen on
Yeah.
this day. Oh, on Saturday. It was gonna be a Saturday.
It was.
It's
It
gonna
was
be-
Saturday. Yeah.
Because I love sunflowers and we're going to a sunflower field. Like, I just know he's gonna ask me. But yeah, and then you called me right after, and I was like,
I did.
screaming.
Because I told them, I was like, if it happens, I'm calling you.
yeah.
I still have the screen recording.
Do you actually?
I
Of me
actually-
screaming. Why do I always
She had
scream?
a towel in her head and
I
everything.
just got out the shower.
Yeah. Oh my god.
That's right. But yeah.
So yeah, and then I got home and I was freaking out because I was holding sunflowers
Mm-hmm.
and we had a picture of like the whole sunflower field behind us. I'm like,
Like,
Oh my
if this isn't the
God.
Lord, I don't know what is.
oh my, yeah. I was like, I wanted to cry, and then it was a whole thing. We've now a year after, like he proposed to me, like,
And I also screamed when she told me that they got
Yes.
I was actually in. We were together when it had.
Yeah.
just happened.
Nick actually saw it on the screen, but like,
Yeah,
I guess at the wedding, I'm gonna like, "Ah," when you guys say yes, I do. And I'm like, oh my god.
It was crazy.
yeah, and that was, yeah.
Amen. So
Yeah.
all this goes to say that, like, let's talk about Anna's life real quick. Like, look at the situationship that she's been in. Look at the not like the relationships that she's had prior,
Yeah.
and look how God redeemed her.
Yeah.
Like, you are engaged to the love of your life, the man who treats you like a princess, who acts like the Lord. Like, how do I say segundo corazón de Dios? Like, second to
And
God's
then
heart.
after- yeah.
yeah.
He like Larry truly is a man after God's heart,
Yeah.
and like he is perfect for you. And I'm
Yeah.
just so happy to see you so happy. You know, and it's such like a wonderful stage of life, and I just love seeing the Lord work in you.
Yeah.
So there's hope for you guys, okay?
Yes.
There is hope. And at the right time, like, God is a God of details, number one.
A God, yes.
He's such a girl dad, I'm telling you.
He is a
Like,
girl
if it wasn't
dad.
a girl dad.
Attention to that
He-
stuff.
If
He
it
was
wasn't a girl dad, he
attention
would
to
have
us. That's
forgotten the letter.
true.
But no, God remembered the letter, and he didn't give you one sunflower. He gave you a field
Exactly.
of sunflowers.
And one thing I've noticed too is like, not only is he a God of details, but he'll go above and beyond for what we ask.
Yes.
Like, sometimes we'll ask something, and then we'll think, "Oh God, this is enough." But God's like, "Nah, I'm gonna give you more
Yeah.
than what you thought."
Because I love you, because you're my child.
Exactly.
Yes.
So no,
Yes.
God's love is just unconditional. So.
But yeah, so we are coming to the end of the episode. It's been 50 minutes. Yeah.
I told you, you'd be
I told you it flies
surprised.
by.
You would
Yeah.
be surprised.
And as every single episode finishes, we always end with our one piece of advice.
One
So
piece.
I wanted to know, you can look at that camera. What is your one piece of advice to the youth?
Oh, pressure. I thought about this the whole week. Okay.
No.
I mean, I guess it's what says on my hoodie. Seek him.
Period.
Because. Oh.
It's because I'm not supposed to talk during the advice, and then I always end up giving commentary like, yes, and I'm like, let me shut up.
But yeah, I would say seek him because I don't know what would have happened to me if I stopped seeking him. And I don't know where I would be if I stopped seeking him. So my advice would be to keep going. Like, struggles are gonna happen, like mental illness are gonna happen, but also good things are gonna happen, you know? But I feel like when you have God by your side, he's our best friend, and he is a girl dad and he's also a boy dad. So whoever's watching, like, if you relate to a story like mine, just keep seeking, because one day after like 2 or 3 years, maybe it's like the ending of the story is nice. So
Amen. God always gives us our happy ending
Man.
because that's who he is.
yes.
He's just so loving.
That's our God right there. That's the God we serve, y'all.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, guys, I really hope that this episode has encouraged you, has blessed you, because that's literally what your life is. It's like just evidence that God is good,
Yeah.
you know? So I definitely, like, your story has impacted me so much, has motivated me to keep going. And I
Yeah.
pray the same thing for everyone watching or listening. Anna, thank you so much for
Thank you
coming
so
on the
much, Anna.
episode. Like, this was so good. Like, I've been wanting to bring you on for forever. So I'm just so grateful that you did come, and it worked out too. We did have to
Yes.
reschedule, but today ended up being better than Thursday.
Oh yeah.
So-
I'm glad.
and yeah, thank you guys so much for watching.
Thank you guys so much.
Yes.
By the way, make sure, as always, make sure you guys are subscribed, liking the channel, and dropping some comments. Let us know what guests you guys want us to bring as well. We'd like to hear some of your guys' suggestions as well. And yeah, guys, that is pretty much it. Until the next episode, we love you guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.